Now at noon, deputies say this man, missing since the weekend, was brutally murdered. They believe the suspect took extreme measures to cover it all up. We're live with the new details just coming in. Then, new search warrants just in, describing the chilling seconds after a gunman opened fire on the campus of UNC Charlotte. And privacy concerns over Amazon's Echo Dot for kids. Is your personal information at risk? And how this is connected to children. You're watching Eyewitness News. We're live at noon. Deputies say this man, missing since Sunday, was murdered in Rowan County. Deputies say Carlos Rosas Jr. killed Michael Early and took extreme measures to cover up his death. Channel 9's Tina Terry is live for us right now in Rowan County. And Tina, you just spoke with investigators on this case?
Yeah, warrants that we just uncovered in this case reveal a tragic crime. This is a picture of 19-year-old Michael Early. Detectives say his girlfriend reported him missing on Monday night. He was last seen this weekend on Sunday in Rockwell. As detectives started looking into this, and they learned information and found evidence that led them to arrest another young person, 19-year-old Carlos Rosas Jr., who is from Rockwell. Detectives charged him with murder. Warrants say that he tried to cover up the murder by cutting Early's body into pieces, which he tried to get rid of. Just a horrific allegation against that young man. Sheriff's Office is planning to hold a news conference. It will take place at 2 p.m. We will be here, of course. We're going to bring you updates online as well as on air tonight at 5 o'clock. Back to you, Paul. All right,
that's Tina Terry reporting. As she just mentioned, she will be at that 2 o'clock presser with deputies and bring us the very latest at 5 o'clock. Thank you so much, Tina. Well, new search warrants in the UNC Charlotte tragedy are laying out the key investigative moments after the deadly shooting, including what police found when they searched the gunman's apartment. When Sergeant Rick Gundacker entered the Kennedy building, he first asked who was shooting. The warrant says the gunman actually identified himself as the shooter. Police, of course, quickly arrested him, seized his gun, along with a black leather bag that contained multiple magazines. One witness told police he was in the class when the shooter slammed the door, opened fire, shooting a pistol. That is when the witness says the suspect walked towards a particular table in that room the day of the shooting. Now, while police were on UNC Charlotte's campus, other officers went to the suspect's apartment in Noda. I brought you live coverage that night from the shooter's apartment on East 36th Street. Now, the documents we obtained say investigators found inside paper gun range targets, 3 magazines, and 6 boxes of ammunition inside that apartment. The UNC tragedy is impacting this weekend's graduation. We have details on the changes and how the university will honor those students who were killed that day on our WSOC-TV news app. The deadly shooting of this mother on her way to nursing school stunned our city. Today, the 3 men accused of killing her will learn if they'll face the death penalty in the case. Titus Doby, Adonis Smith, and Marquise Smith are charged in Kendall Crank's death. She was killed in the middle of a gunfight as she just drove along North Tryon Street back in March. Channel 9's Mark Becker is inside that courtroom right now for the hearing. He's going to bring us the very latest on this story a lot of you have been following at 5 o'clock. Well, in the next 2 hours, the CMS Board and Mecklenburg County Commissioners will meet to discuss the district's proposed budget for the upcoming school year. Superintendent Dr. Clayton Wilcox is asking for $70 million more above last year. That includes money for teacher raises, more staff, and ongoing security upgrades. After the 2 o'clock meeting, the county will hold a public hearing on the proposed county budget at 6 o'clock. The county wants to raise the tax rate. For most, that will mean at least a $10 increase per month on your bill. That new revenue, they say, would go towards Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools, universal pre-K, and an increase to support affordable housing. Police say a woman sleeping under an uptown Charlotte bridge was stabbed to death. Investigators closed North College Street around 7:45 this morning as people were driving to work. Detectives have not named the woman who died and say they are still looking for the killer in that case. This is now the 50th person killed in our community in just the first 5 months of 2019. 50 people. That's higher than this time last year and at this time in 2017. Police are pleading with the community to stop the violence. North Carolina is asking parents to get their children vaccinated amid one of the worst measles outbreaks in decades. Remember, the CDC declared measles was eliminated in the U.S. in 2000 thanks to vaccines, but today there are 764 cases across 23 states. The majority of those cases are unvaccinated children. Right now, there are no confirmed cases in the Carolinas, but there are cases in neighboring states like Tennessee. The North Carolina Department of Health says the measles is easily preventable, but parents need to get their children vaccinated. Now, yesterday, the department sent pediatricians a new letter urging those vaccinations. Our Gina Esposito is speaking with some doctors in our community right now. She's going to have the latest on all of this for you tonight at 5 o'clock. The fight over the South Carolina Panthers bill could continue today in Columbia. We're following this closely. The proposal would give the team millions of dollars in tax breaks if they build their headquarters and new practice facilities across the border. Now, yesterday, the Senate allowed the bill to pass what's known as a second reading without any objection. That usually means approval is imminent, but today's expected third and final reading is expected to possibly bring some more debate. Some have raised concerns that the economic benefit of the NFL team's plan is not going to be as large as predicted. Today is the last day of the legislative session to get that bill passed. Now, if the deal goes through, the new Panthers facility could be built just south of the Cherry Street exit off of I-77 in Rock Hill. New hotels, restaurants, and shops would likely be built around it. Team owner David Tepper has said he's going to keep the headquarters in Charlotte if that bill doesn't pass. Of course, South Carolina Bureau reporter Greg Suskin is keeping a very close eye on this deal. He's going to bring us the very latest tonight at 5 o'clock. Every summer, our meteorologists in Severe Weather Center 9 closely track every hurricane and disturbance on its way to our area. Last year, we, of course, felt the impact of two very strong storms. Well, today, our meteorologists are getting a tour of one of the strongest tools that hopes to give us an accurate forecast. Meteorologist Tony Sadiku is live for us right now at the airport. And, Tony, today, a big part of what they're talking about is being prepared.
Absolutely, Paul. Preparation is the key. It's a beautiful day to be outside, but an even better day to start preparing for hurricane season. By the way, hurricane season now less than a month away, starts June 1st, and preparation is the message from all the different agencies out here, from the Hurricane Center to the Red Cross and FEMA, and of course you've got these guys, the famous hurricane hunters. A lot of folks are excited to get a chance to tour these things, to fly inside, or not to fly inside, but to talk to the pilots that actually get to fly inside the eye of a hurricane, and of course get that critical data that goes into better forecasting these things and those hurricane cones that you've probably seen a million times. This, by the way, is happening at Charlotte Douglas Airport. We've seen hundreds of kids out here on their field trips out here. This will be open to the public from 2 to 5 o'clock here this afternoon. And a couple things to note here. This is the first time the hurricane hunters have ever landed in Charlotte, and it's the biggest airport to ever host them. And of course, the idea is helping people understand their risk, to better plan, and to understand that even if they live inland, even if they don't live along the coast, there are some inherent risks that you should still consider.
83% of fatalities in the last 3 years from tropical systems has been inland flooding, more than half of that in cars. So this is an inland problem. A lot of people losing their lives inland, so that's what we're here talking about.
And when we talk to the hurricane hunters and ask them, I mean, how dangerous is your job? And of course, they recognize the inherent dangers with their job, but they say that what they do is so vitally important to improving forecasts that at the end of the day save lives. So you can hear more from the interview with the hurricane hunters with our very own meteorologist John Aarons beginning today at 5. Right now I'm going to send it on over to meteorologist Keith Bunday, who's tracking increasing rain chances in the days ahead. Keith?
Yeah, the chance is going to pick up, unfortunately, Tony, as we head to the weekend. Looks great out there, though, at the airport. I'm hoping to head out there this afternoon. You can see on Live Early Warning Doppler 9, there are scattered showers popping up between Lancaster, Fort Mill, Rock Hill, and especially into Chester County. Those downpours are moving northward very slowly, less than 20 miles an hour. If it holds together, it would move into Rock Hill for about another 20 minutes or so. Hickory Grove and York around 1240. TKK, if it holds together, around 107 this afternoon. So we're seeing a few of these little popcorn-style variety of showers. We only had about 20% chance for a brief downpour this afternoon and into this early evening. That'll quiet down tonight, but that chance is going to grow dramatically this weekend. We'll talk about the bigger storm system that's coming in that could have a big impact on those Mother's Day plans. Paul.
Yeah, that full forecast just minutes away. Thanks, Keith. Some Mooresville schools will dismiss early tomorrow for Officer Jordan Sheldon's funeral procession. The impacted schools are on your screen right there: Cottle Creek Elementary, Mount Morn School, and Lake Norman Charter. Also, any Iredell Statesville schools students can leave early to watch the procession, we're being told. Last night, hundreds of people showed up to honor Officer Sheldon 4 days after he was murdered during a routine traffic stop. It is just another powerful example of how much Officer Sheldon meant to the town of Mooresville and his community. We saw people hugging each other as family and fellow officers shared stories about Sheldon. His father actually spoke last night, saying at first he didn't support his son when he wanted to change his career path from engineering to law enforcement, but that did not stop Jordan from fulfilling his calling.
Tried to get him to go in the FBI. He said no.
His father went on to say Jordan only wanted to serve his town of Mooresville. Officer Sheldon's funeral is tomorrow, 11 a.m., Calvary Church in Charlotte. There will be a procession bringing his body from Concord to Charlotte before that funeral. Well, a popular Amazon product, the Echo Dot Kids, is under fire right now, accused of violating child online privacy laws. Consumer advocacy group Campaign for a Commercial-Free Childhood filed a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission on all this. It demonstrated a child using the Echo Dot's Remember Me feature, asking it to remember a social security number, address, and phone number. Well, it says after deleting that recording 2 different ways, the data was still there.
I was shocked. The fact that Amazon keeps that information is extremely concerning.
And get this, Good Morning America repeated the experiment and got the same results. Amazon told GMA the Echo Dot Kids edition is compliant with the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. Coming up, a mother is warning others after getting a prescription 4 times too strong for her baby. We'll tell you where that mistake was made and how to protect your family. And American Airlines raising flight prices. We'll break down the extra costs for you on top of the high fares already at Charlotte Douglas. Then, a mother is heartbroken after video shows her son being knocked out. It ultimately killed him. Next, why she wants a former Wake Forest coach to face more charges.
Weather on WSOC is driven by Toyota of North Charlotte, I-77, exit 23, where big city low prices are just a click away.
A Raleigh mother wants a former Wake Forest basketball assistant coach to be charged with homicide. Police say last August, the former coach killed her son. Take a look.
It's just really hard to know that someone so special, you know, you just wonder, why did he deserve it, or why was he in the wrong place?
Police say her son, Shandor Szabo, was drunk when he knocked on Coach Jamil Jones' car, thinking it was his Uber in New York. In the surveillance video, you can see Szabo knocked to the ground.
There was no reason he had to get out of the car. Why did he get out of the car? All he did was flee like a coward, and only 4 days later, he turned himself in.
Police say Szabo hit him so hard, the punch killed him. Jones pleaded not guilty to what he's charged with now, misdemeanor assault. The next time you book a flight, you'll likely be paying a little bit more, especially if you fly on American Airlines out of Charlotte Douglas. Monday, the airline raised all domestic fares by $5 one way. That includes flights in and out of Charlotte and basic economy class seats as well. Southwest is doing the same for its 180,000 flights, including those here in Charlotte. Government rules restrict both airlines from commenting on the price increase. Now, flights in and out of Charlotte Douglas are already up compared to this time in 2017. The Charlotte Business Journal found that the average fare late last year was nearly $430. That is 2% higher than this time a year before. Charlotte ranks the second for highest fares among the 50 largest U.S. airports. Now, we could see prices drop soon once Spirit adds some flights this summer. The airline is starting new flights to 4 different cities. The aviation director told Channel 9 he believes this addition of a low-fare airline will possibly shake up ticket prices. The Carolina Hurricanes will face the Boston Bruins tonight in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final. The Hurricanes' Stanley Cup playoffs run has been unexpected. The team struggled early in the season and hadn't made the playoffs in 10 years. Should be exciting. That puck drops at 8 o'clock tonight. Meantime, the Charlotte Checkers are advancing to the AHL Eastern Conference Finals. They beat the Hershey Bears 5-2 last night to complete the sweep of that series. Now the Checkers set to take on the Toronto Marlies, that team undefeated. The first game is Friday the 17th at Bojangles Coliseum. The severe storm system is continuing to move across the U.S. Last night, the South was just absolutely pummeled with heavy flooding and tornado activity. Flash flooding in Shreveport, Louisiana, swallowed some cars right there. Homes also in trouble, forcing water rescues. In Arkansas, severe storms ripping the roof off of that apartment building. And in Kansas, a car was just washed right off the turnpike. We're keeping a close eye on that storm system as it approaches our area. Let's head over to meteorologist Keith Monday with a look at our forecast.
Still got a couple days to go, so before it gets here, the humidity's building a little more today. Feels hotter out there than this time yesterday, even though temperatures are roughly about the same. Still just watching these little band of showers drifting in from Chester into York counties. Most of this, as it gets into York County, falls apart, that leading edge. Really just a few tiny showers. So we'll watch the downpours coming out of Chester now, but what's heading towards Charlotte right now, just a few sprinkles or a light shower. But keep the umbrellas with you this afternoon. There will be at least a couple downpours around. I'm not expecting it to last everywhere, though, all day, that's for sure. We're at 78 in Charlotte, but check this out. There's actually a little bit of a heat index. Feels like 81, so we're starting to make it feel a little more uncomfortable out there. Down south, it feels cooler because you've had the rain in place, and we'll see those downpours kind of come and go as we head into the afternoon. Still can get some yard work done today, though. There's only about 20% chance for just an isolated shower, rumble of thunder briefly. No major storms expected. Highs low 80s. It will feel hotter, though, as that mugginess is spreading its way on into the region. That's going to help out with more storms as we head to the weekend as that storm system approaches. Now, tomorrow, that storm system is so slow moving, we see nothing more than just still a very isolated downpour risk. And into tomorrow evening, though, a few more cells may come off the mountains. The majority of the activity stays way up to our north tomorrow, so many of us will probably miss out again, thankfully, on the downpour chances into our Friday. But unfortunately, as we head to the weekend, that's changing. So more downpours on at least an isolated scale tomorrow, still just as muggy as we stay in the lower 80s. But check out what happens Saturday. Yeah, scattered to more widely scattered showers and storms come in through Saturday afternoon, lasting well into Saturday evening. We may have a couple waves of some heavy rain coming in. Some stronger storms as well. It's not a big risk for severe weather, but we may have some hail concerns, some strong wind concern coming in throughout the weekend, and that is going to stick around as we head our way into our Mother's Day plans as well. As the temperatures stay close to 80 degrees, it may not wash out all plans on Sunday all day, but it's a solid chance for some strong downpours to come in, especially in those afternoon hours. So brunch plans, yeah, you can still have those. They're indoor brunch plans on Sunday, but keep your guard up and make it some stronger storms this weekend.
You know, so many of us at the start of the week were hoping, well, maybe the forecast will shape up for the better, but it really seems to be crystallizing here.
It's been shaping up for the worse.
Oh, man. All right, still a few more days. We'll keep a close eye on it.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Keith. Coming up, a mother is outraged after a pharmacy gave her toddler medicine that was way too strong. Next, did the pharmacy follow protocol, and could this near tragedy have been prevented? A terrifying situation for any parent. A Salisbury mom says her pharmacy made a dangerous mistake while filling her young child's prescription. This is video of the medicine right here. Robin Sells got to treat her son's ear infection. She says the antibiotic called amoxiclav was very thick, almost like glue. You can see it there. The mom said that made her suspicious, but she still gave it to her baby, and the child freaked out, in her words. That is when the mother rushed the medicine back to the Walgreens on Jake Alexander Boulevard.
And so when we got there, they opened it and they said, oh yeah, it's not supposed to look like this, it was mixed strong.
The mother says the pharmacist told her the drug was 4 times stronger than it should have been for her 17-month-old baby. Now, Walgreens told us it has apologized to the family and gave her a new prescription, of course. It says it is looking into what happened that day and says it has a multi-step process with safety checks in place to try and minimize human error. Police in South Carolina arrested this small-town mayor just before he was set to take office. The Myrtle Beach Sun reports that Corey Jackson is accused of offering 10 young boys money to send him nude pictures. Arrest warrants show at least 2 of those minors actually followed through and did that. Jackson won a runoff last month to become the mayor of that small town called Dillon.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. It's Bo time.
You may be getting a blue bag in your mailbox this week for the U.S. Postal Service's annual food drive. You can donate food this Saturday by filling the bag and putting it at your mailbox. The Postal Service is looking for canned meats, peanut butter, dried beans, and canned soup. Many in our community rely on this food, especially young students in the summer months. Thanks for your support there. Final check of the forecast.
Watching these few little tiny showers trying to pop up here, mainly on the south side of the metro now. A little cluster there from Chester heading up toward York. So folks in York County, get ready for a downpour there. We won't see a lot of these today, but there will be a few that'll be around from time to time. Coming up today at 5, Steve is going to have that latest outlook into the weekend. Storm chances are going up.
Lots to watch. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you for joining us today, this midday. Join us tonight starting at 5 o'clock. Have a great afternoon.
WSOC-TV is a Cox Media Group station.